I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you all for coming. This community is designed to support you in that time. It's really to utilize when things are bad and when you're at your lowest.
I started to learn about emotions. I started to learn about finding root causes, right? Starting to understand addiction and how addiction is not, once again, the issue that we are using a negative stimulus as a coping mechanism.
Part of my mission is to make sure people know that everything we need comes in a natural form. It's already here for us.
I am determined. I am strong. And I am ready.
We must first lovingly accept what is. I often say, you can't heal a body you hate.
This is healthy blood cells. And that's what we're aiming for. So you can see the contrast. Okay? What you do matters.
Thank you all for coming. Be blessed. When you approached the AHA community, had you already been familiar with fasting?
I wasn't familiar with fasting, but I was familiar with the keto diet.
So you were at 345 at your biggest. How much did you end up losing?
I'm down to 235 now, so I lost 110 pounds so far.
Congratulations, man. That's what's up. What was your regimen like? How did you approach this?
Well, I approached this first when I found out about keto, that I can eat all the meat I want and just lower my carbs and I could lose weight. At first, honestly, I didn't believe. I didn't know that you can lose weight, honestly, without working out. Because I did it so fast last time with working out, it came off, but I didn't know that you can do that. So that was like my regimen was like really keto, fasting, and OMAD was like in the beginning, I was just eating one meal a day. Then I found out after I kept watching like more and more of your videos about these rolling 72s. And that was like, man, like that's like amazing. Like it's like probably had the most effect on my weight loss, I would say.
What's going on, everybody? Good evening. AHA After Dark, Saturday, October 5th. I know some of y'all is already October 6th. I just wanted to give you guys a couple minutes to get in. That most recent reel that I launched was an interview that I did talking about the R72 challenge. And the reason I wanted to put that reel out there for you all is because we are announcing the R72 challenge is coming back this month. We've got 2 more challenges left before the end of the year. We have had several members ask us about challenges, especially leading to the end of the year. And I was thinking about that. I was like, why are people asking? Like, people ask about challenges, but usually it's more sporadic. You know what I mean? At least that's the way I get it. But recently, people have been asking like a lot. When's the next challenge? I got to hit this goal. I want to do this thing. And what I'm learning from just talking to the community, and I mentioned on my live stream the other night, we did our retreat, just talking to you all. What I'm starting to understand is that people really get a lot of benefit from when we do these challenges as a large team. Let me know if y'all can hear me and see me, so I'm not talking to myself. Just let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me. But people are getting a tremendous amount of benefit from these large challenges that we do. And a lot of people I'm seeing are pretty much waiting. They're fasting when we do the challenges. So the next challenge is going to be the R72 weight loss challenge. I am putting out there 30 pounds in 30 days. That's what we're looking for. That's the weight loss we're looking for. We're looking for 30 pounds in 30 days. Now, if we think about what we have left as far as the end of the year goes, we've got roughly 3 months. We'll just say 2 months. We've got 2 months left. And the talk I wanted to have tonight is kind of surrounding the energy that we get at the end of the year. So there's two kind of opposing energies that I see at the end of the year. And I want to see if we can somehow concentrate that energy and put it towards something that's going to be positive and beneficial for us versus allowing that energy to frustrate us or cause us to feel unmotivated. All right, good. Y'all can hear me and see me. Cool. I was doing some studying a couple years ago, and I came across a statistic that said that the average American, okay, and I'm using I like using America because I think that we're the most toxic country. That's just my personal opinion. I think America is a great country to live in, but as far as our dietary habits, I think we have some of, if not the worst dietary habits. The reason why is because we eat just so much processed food. Also, there's a lot of lying that happens. In other countries, there are rules and regulations that keep corporations and governments from lying. Whereas in America, there's a lot of ability for people to lie. Propaganda is legal. It's okay to manipulate the American population. So I use us as an example because we're probably the worst. But everybody is going to get a little bit of this in their country based on, different holidays and things you guys celebrate. But what's happening is at the end of the year, between pretty much October and we'll just say January, the beginning of January, we consume the most amount during this time frame. And I'm keeping that general. The consumption could be food, it could be shopping, material things. We become very gluttonous during this time of year to the point where we have a holiday that celebrates being gluttonous. Now, I understand that that's not what the holiday is for, right? It's for Thanksgiving, but just think about what we actually do. Don't think about the glitz and the glamour of the holiday. Oh, it's family getting together. I can tell you for a fact that I was ready to be gluttonous every Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving, I was ready. I remember sitting down and having a conversation with my brother as we prepared, like, for the next day. We're like, what are you going to do tomorrow? How's it going to go down? And I would tell him, I'm not eating anything today, or I'm not eating anything for the rest of the day because I want to be able to indulge tomorrow. This is the conversations we would have. Now, if you guys are being honest, maybe you could say, you know what, I've had that mindset as well. So I'm not talking about, how the holiday is portrayed from a marketing standpoint. I'm saying, like, how do we actually interact with it? We're very gluttonous. And we use our holidays, not just Thanksgiving. You've got Christmas, you've got Halloween. We use these holidays as an excuse to overeat. And we then, on top of the fact that we overeat during this time, we also consume a horrendous amount of processed foods. Like, it should be a time when families are coming together and cooking stuff from scratch, spending, 10 hours depending on how big your family is, you might spend 10 hours in the kitchen prepping everything from scratch because it's a once-a-year celebration. It's a special meal. But what do? We take shortcuts. We're not making that pie crust from scratch. We're probably not making our sweet potatoes from scratch. Let's keep it a buck. We're going to go get that can. Y'all know that can of sweet potatoes, the candy yams, whatever. I don't know the brand, but it's the yellow labels, like the yellow and orange. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We're gonna make the macaroni and cheese. We're gonna make it at home, but we're gonna buy the noodles and we're gonna buy the cheese processed, right? It's not like we're going the extra mile, knowing that we're gonna be eating so much to not indulge in the processed foods. And then, of course, you got the cookies and the cakes, and then, of course, the candies. So what happens over the next 3 months is we make an excuse to be gluttonous. And the average American gains the majority of their weight for the entire year during the next 3 months. So when I learned this, I started scheduling challenges around this time specifically as a way to combat what we are doing that we think is completely okay. I started having talks just like this one about the holidays and how they impact us and how they affect our health. so that you guys can be aware of it. I don't expect anybody to listen to me and be like, oh, I'm not going to celebrate the holiday. I don't expect that. What I would love to see is for there to be more awareness around our habits during this holiday season, because awareness, it's kind of like once you know, you can't unknow. Like if you guys have ever looked up how hot dogs are made, I remember when I did. I looked at how hot dogs were made probably like maybe it's 15 years ago, something like that. Now, for those who understand my journey and everything, I only stopped eating meat like maybe 7 years ago. So leading up until I stopped eating meat entirely, I stopped eating hot dogs. Once I learned how they were made, I stopped eating. I couldn't eat them anymore, knowing how they were made. And I'm assuming that some of you all have that same conviction inside of you, that when you hear something, there is a level of conviction. You're like, you know what? I know this isn't right. And so your conscience will start to aid you in your wellness goals. Because, I mean, if you guys are here, I'm assuming that you have wellness goals. I'm assuming you're not here just because you think I'm a good looking guy and you want to hear me talk. I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think if you guys are looking to lose weight, if you're looking to reverse dis-ease naturally, if you're looking to be proactive and maybe not have to worry about dis-ease, then this is what you need to hear. This is what we're going to talk about today. Now, at the beginning of the year, most of us had a weight loss goal, a wellness goal, or even whatever. It could be a relational goal, or maybe you're working on yourself and there's certain traits about yourself that you wanted to improve. So we all have these goals, right? And we set them, we call them New Year's resolutions. And I absolutely hate New Year's resolutions. I hate them because of the energy around them. The energy around the New Year's resolution is that I'm going to set this goal. It's the new year. That's my motivation. It's the new year. I've got this goal. And 9 times out of 10, 2 months in, you're done. You've lost the motivation because what? The new year is over. The new year doesn't last the whole year. The new year the energy from the new year only lasts for a month, maybe 2 months. Challenge starts October 20th, y'all. And I also put the link in the description. And I'm going to drop the link in the chat for y'all who want to join. Just since I saw someone was asking about that. So, number one, we have to really consider our motivation when we create our goals. If your motivation is you want to do XYZ because it's the new year, I'm just saying statistically, it's not looking good. It's not in your favor. Most people have already got off track. We're talking just 1 or 2 months into the new year. Now, there's also this depression that happens during this time as well. As we start getting to the end of the new year and we're looking back on the goals and the timelines that we may have set for, the year, so it's 2024, you might be disappointed. You might be disappointed with where you are. You might be disappointed with the progress that you had gained early and lost, right? The whole yo-yoing thing. And I think that we can shift that energy just like we shift the energy around our holiday season. So if you look at the holiday season for what it should be, which is spending time with family, that's an opportunity to maybe do something a little different. Maybe plant a seed. You're going to be around your family. Maybe you guys can inspire them, right? If you feel like you didn't do what you wanted to do this year, instead of allowing it to depress you, you can actually use it as a motivation and say, you know what? Before the end of the year, I'm going to do everything I can to hit that goal, because most of you have time to accomplish it. I mean, we've got almost 90 days left. We've got almost 90 days left. Most of you have enough time to accomplish your goal, whatever that goal may be, as it relates to wellness. And if you don't have time to 100% accomplish your goal, you do have enough time to make such a large impact that you don't feel defeated at all. As a matter of fact, you can end this year strong and empowered, and then that could be motivation to propel you into the next year, 2025, where you then complete the goal. But at some point, we've got to start. At some point, we have to start because one of the things that I learned early on when I started to challenge my fundamental beliefs, I talk about this. I did this experiment where I would ask people, just friends, family, coworkers, I would ask them if they're open-minded. And I'm telling you, everybody says yes. I've never met a person, and I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying I've never met a person that I asked, hey, are you an open-minded person? Would you consider yourself open-minded? That person didn't say yes. But I challenge you all. If you've never looked at your fundamental belief system and put pressure on that belief system to really test it, to see why do you believe what you believe? Like, is what you believe, can you really stand soundly on that foundation? Then I would not necessarily consider you to be an open-minded person. And the reason I say that is because I thought I was open-minded too, until I started to test my fundamental beliefs. You know, once you start putting pressure on those fundamental beliefs, you really get to see, okay, is this a belief I have? Is this a belief someone gave to me? You know, et cetera, et cetera. But if you guys are open-minded, or if you want to be open-minded, then you can start to look at different ways to approach your wellness journey outside of like the conventional methods. I know that it sounds cliche, or it's very popular to talk about, you know, using this power of manifestation or even the laws of attraction and things of that nature. And I understand why there's a lot of people that don't believe in it. I understand why there's people that believe in it, even though they don't get outcomes from it. It's just how human beings work, right? But what I do know is that there are laws of reality. There's laws of nature. You know, there's certain things that in the world that we live in, this three-dimensional world, you do an action over here, you get a result over here, and it's very duplicatable. And what I do know is that where your attention goes, your energy flows. If you put your intention, or if you pay attention to something, you naturally start flowing energy there. Okay. Now we do know scientifically we live in an energetic world. So if we could just understand these basic concepts of when you put your intention or attention on something, your energy will flow there, then we can maybe use that to our advantage. Meaning, if you had a goal for 2024, how much attention or intention did you put behind that goal? Did you think about it weekly? Did you think about it monthly? Did you think about it a couple times a year? Or were you thinking about it daily? And the difference between people who are going to be successful in their life, really, whatever goals you guys have, are the ones that pay more attention or put more intention into their goals than the next person. Not to say that it's a competition, but if you don't want average outcomes, you can't do what average people do. Everybody wants to be extraordinary, outstanding, but then when we start to understand what it takes to be that and to do that, you know, maybe next time, maybe next year, maybe some other time. It's always about tomorrow. And one thing that I learned very early on is tomorrow never comes. I mean, I'm not that old, but I have lived a lot of life. I've lived a lot of life. I've met a lot of people. I've seen a lot of things. And one thing that I know is tomorrow never comes. Like literally, tomorrow never comes. You cannot wait for tomorrow. If you wait for tomorrow, you'll be waiting your entire life. One of my favorite people in this world, my dad's dad, we called him Papa. He literally always would tell me, I remember being 5, 6 years old, and this man telling me, Chris, when my ship comes in, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to go here, you want to buy that. When my ship comes in, we're doing it. We're doing all of it. And of course, he died and the ship never came. Why? Why did his ship never come in? Chris, you talk about the power of manifestation. He clearly had a strong belief that his ship was going to come in, whatever that was. This goes back to what I said. There's people that believe in the power of manifestation, even though they don't get the results and get the outcomes. They believe in it anyway. You know, me personally, I'm a results-driven person. The reason his ship never came in is because he never put any intention on bringing the ship in. The ship's not going to bring itself in. If you're looking for a large amount of money to come to you, it's not going to come by itself. Like, there is some action you're going to have to put towards bringing that money to you. It's not all cerebral. We do live in a 3D world, right? So if we take that same logic and apply it to our wellness goals, you're not going to get slim, lose the 100 pounds, or feel better and have more energy just because you believe it's going to happen. Not only do you have to put time and intention on it, but you have to have consistency as well. Because if you put the time and intention in for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month, you will get some level of success. It might be like a taste of success. You might understand how you could possibly be successful, but that's not going to be enough time for you to truly be successful, especially if you've got 100 pounds to lose, right? I mean, we've got the R72 challenge. It's a 30-day challenge. Our goal, lose 30 pounds in 30 days. If you've got 100 pounds to lose, that's a third of the way. That's a nice chunk of your journey, but it's not the whole thing. Also, you have to understand that once that challenge is over, there's a level of maintenance that you have to maintain in order to not revert back, right? You don't want to lose 30 pounds and then gain all that weight back before the next challenge or whatever the next thing you're going to do. So it's a physical thing, but it's also a mental thing. And I encourage you guys to do them both at the same time. I encourage you to look at the journey as it's a dual-sided thing. You have to work on your physical and your mental at the same time. So I have a cool little exercise. Last year, I talked about how I like to write my goals down. Okay. So depending on where you guys fall in the spectrum, you're going to kind of approach this two different ways. If you let's say this is 2023, right? And you're coming into 2024 and you've got a goal for 2024, whatever it is. Okay, let's just some of you all going into 2024 had some goal that you wanted to accomplish. I told you all what I do is I get a piece of paper and I write my goals on this piece of paper. And it's a time of reflection for me. I do it towards the end of the year. It's an opportunity to look back on maybe some goals I had for the previous year, and also to create new goals for the next year. So if you all had a goal for 2024, you don't have to do it right now per se, but I want you to write that goal down on a sheet of paper. These I make like almost like the size of a wallet, something that I can kind of keep around easily, like carry around easily. I mean, you could put it anywhere you want, I suppose, but I highly recommend that you write it on real paper, not digitally. Don't put it in your phone. Write it on real paper. When you do that, it creates a contract between you and yourself. That's why when in finance and business, the wet ink signature is everything, because it's a contract. And that's not just frivolous. There is an energy behind it. And because I understand that, I'm trying to pass that knowledge on to you all. You want to create a contract with yourself. Whatever your goal was for 2024, I want you to refresh that right now. I want you to refresh it tonight. I want you to write that goal back down. And you can also think, What type of progress have you made towards that goal? How much intention did you put towards that goal? What could you have done better? We've got 3 months before the end of the, roughly 3 months before the end of the year. I want you all to think about whatever that goal was, and I want to challenge you for the next 3 months. We're almost at the end of the year. Can you focus on this goal daily for the next 3 months until the end of the year? Each day, can you take one small step towards that goal? You've got 90 days left, roughly. I like rounding, y'all. Okay? You've got 90 days left. I'll give you the extra 5 going into January. Don't worry about it. I want you guys to look at the goal that you had set for last year. I want you to rewrite it down, reset your intention. Think about what you did good, what worked, what did not work, what could you have done better. And then I want you to reallocate time and energy and intention towards that goal for the remainder of the year. Now, for those of you who did not do that exercise, you didn't do it, that's maybe not part of your tradition, I would highly recommend that you adopt that in the future. But starting today, what you can do, you still have the same 90 days between now and the end of the year. Let's flip the New Year's resolution on its head. Instead of waiting for 3 months before we start and do anything, let's start today. Let's see how far we can get from now until today. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little help. For those who did not have goals set, you're going to set your intention. You're going to write your goals down. And I want you to do the same thing. Whether you had a goal or not, create a goal. You've got 90 days left. If your goal is weight loss, I'm going to tell you what is reasonably capable in the way of weight loss between now and, we'll just say, January 5th, okay? Reasonably, you could lose 60 pounds. Can you lose more? Yes, you can lose more. I'm not saying that this is the max. And also, this is an adjustable scale, meaning depending on how much you weigh now and how much you have to lose, you can lose more, you can lose less. But for the average person in our community, just based off of my experience, between now and January 5th, you can definitely lose 60 pounds. I mean, that's incredible, in my opinion. Now, 60 pounds is a great weight loss goal. Your goal may not be weight loss. It doesn't have to be. I just know that for the majority of our community, it is weight loss. Maybe your goal is to get your A1C under 5.7 or 5.6. You know what I mean? Or maybe your goal is to get your blood pressure out of pre-hypertension or out of hypertension. It doesn't matter what your goal is, really. You just need to write it down and then put your intention on it for the next 90 days. And what you will find is that you will probably shatter that goal. My promise to you is that if you do what I'm asking you to do, you write your goal down, you set your intention, touch this paper once a day. When I say touch it, I mean read it, look at it. What did I do today to move towards this goal? What was the step that I took today to move towards this goal? In the next 90 days, you will be so far past whatever goal you've set for yourself. I'm telling you, y'all are going to be in my comment section talking about, Chris, I don't know what kind of magic. I don't know what kind of what you did. I didn't do anything. There's rules to the 3D world that we live in. And why am I so confident? Why am I so confident about this? Why can I sit here in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people? I don't know how many people are going to watch this video and say this with such confidence, because I've done it time and time again. I've also seen the opposite side of this, the spectrum too, where I set a goal and I don't put my intention into it. Maybe I'm feeling myself. Maybe things are just going my way lately. Maybe I'm just on a roll. And I have seen things that I have been doing, areas where I'm doing very well, and I stop putting my intention and my energy there, and I fall off very rapidly. Okay, let's dive deeper into that, because people tend to be more naturally inclined to negativity. I would say not naturally. We're kind of socially constructed to be that way. You know, TV, news, media, entertainment, governments, they kind of put a negative undertone on things, everything, right? Would you all agree that if you neglect something, you will not be successful there? Can you guys agree in the comment section? Can you agree that if you neglect something in your life, you will have less success in that area of your life? Can we all agree on that? Because I know some of you all are like, yeah, Chris, it sounds good. If we can all agree on that, we could be on the same page. Okay. So you guys can agree that if you neglect a child, if you neglect your job, if you neglect your wife or your husband, if you neglect your studies, right? Whatever it is, if we can agree, if you neglect something, meaning you give it no attention, no energy, then you're not going to see a level of success. You're not going to see improvement. Okay? This is easy to agree to. So I would imagine most of you all agree. Okay, cool. Well, guess what? If that is true, the opposite has to be true as well. It doesn't work that way where it only works on this side. If you neglect something, you're unsuccessful, you don't get the outcomes. So that means if you give intention and attention to something, you will see improvement, you will see success, some level of improvement. Both things have to be true. That's the way the world works. So what I'm telling you all is, when I very first started writing things down, okay, this is probably back in 2009. In 2009, I lost my job at Amazon. I was one of the warehouse workers. I just started working there, and I got hired on during the Christmas season. I'm not used to losing my job. I'll tell you all that now. But at this point in my life, I had lost one job prior, I think, to this. And then in December, it was like late December, maybe going into January, they laid me off. Not because of performance or anything like that. It was nothing that I did wrong per se. If y'all understand Amazon has a period of time when they're just, you know what? It's AHA after dark. They're balls to the wall. They can't move enough packages, right? It's just the Christmas season. It's the holiday season. It's the season when we consume the most. So they hire way more people than they ever need. And then when the season starts to die down, they lay them off. However, during that time, I kind of came to a realization. I said, I don't like the fact that someone can control whether I make money or not. Now, you guys might have a different goal in mind. There might be a different pain point for you, but that was my pain point at that time. I hated the idea that someone could control whether I eat. You today you got a job, tomorrow you don't. I hated that. So what I did was I got a journal. For the first time, I never journaled before. The only time I journaled before this was for school, where they made me do it. There was no intention, there was no love in that. I just did it because I had to do it. I got a journal and I wrote a list of goals down. This is why I'm so confident. I didn't know anything, and I'm telling y'all today, I didn't know any of this stuff then. I didn't know any of it. I was just doing it as a way I wanted to try something new. I'm like, I don't like the outcomes I'm getting. So I'm going to do something different, because we know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So I can't keep doing the same thing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to start journaling. But in my journal, I wrote down timelines, goals, and I also things I would learn for that day. If I learned something that pushed me towards a goal, I'd write it down, right? Because I also learned, I used to do sales. I did sales for the majority of my 20s. And I learned that you retain like 80% of what you write down compared to what you just hear. Okay. So I was like, let me write it down. It'll help me retain it better. I hope y'all are taking notes, because I'm giving you the game right now. We live in a 3D world. There are rules and regulations of this world. You can manipulate them. You can bend them in your favor. And this works for anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Like it could work for relationships, money, spiritual walk, weight loss, health, whatever. So I'm like, oh, I'm writing down my goals and I'm regularly checking it. I didn't know that that was what I was supposed to do. It's more of maybe like an inner understanding. Maybe it was just like I knew, but I didn't know. Well, I was doing the right things without knowing it. And I tell the story because when I went and I looked at my timelines, because I made these timelines, I had a year timeline. But I would check my stuff regularly. So I'm looking at my timelines and I'm like, I'm 6 months in. I've already smashed my 1 year timeline. Now, when I look at my life previous to this, when I would set goals and timelines, I can't tell you what those results were like. I can't tell you if I met them. I can't tell you if I beat them. I can't tell you anything because I didn't write it down. I didn't put time and intention on it on a regular basis. So what it did for me was it sparked motivation. Do you guys know, like when you see these weight loss transformations, sometimes you'll notice that the people that are successful have a calendar or they've created some type of visual, we'll just say, where you can see their weight loss, going down. You could visually see they're charting their progress. Do you know why that's such a popular thing for people that are successful? Because it works. It works. I'm going to tell you guys how I know it works. Because Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they all do the same thing. When you create this little chart, a visual, okay? We'll call it a visual. You create this visual and you can visually see your progress towards a goal. Dopamine. You get a dopamine hit. No different from when you hit the like button and it pops in a balloon and stars. You get a dopamine hit. No different from the sound effects and just all of the weird stuff that social media does. Like I just saw recently on the phones. On the phones, if you subscribe to someone's channel on YouTube now, it like creates some kind of like color wave, and maybe there's like a star effect. I don't know. I've only seen it once, but it caught my attention. And I'm just aware now. I know what this stuff is, but it gives you just a little dopamine hit. Now, one thing that I came to understand recently, which I probably should have figured this out years ago, even though a lot of y'all probably think, oh, Chris grew up in a, maybe a middle or upper middle class family, and you probably like when I used to do sales in New York, the white ladies in New York would always compliment me by saying how articulate I was and ask me what school I went to, right? I did not. I grew up my first, let's say between kindergarten and third grade, I was in like nicer neighborhoods. But from fourth grade until I graduated high school, I was in the hood. So it was a very big culture shock for me, growing up in Cincinnati, Western Hills, Walnut Hills, Price Hill. Cincinnati got all the hills. Bond Hill, dealing with all them, dealing with a different class of people, man. They taught me a lot. I used to get in fights all the time. I forgot where I was going with that story. So that's unfortunate. But the point that I was trying to make is we have to put our time and our attention on whatever task that we have in front of us. Okay. And we have these timelines, and we want to make sure that we're paying attention to our timelines so that we can get that dopamine hit. Oh, I remember I was talking about the dolphins. That's why I talked about the hood. So I'm in the hood and I'm seeing these people walking around the street like zombies. I'm like, man, I didn't truly understand at first, but then my friends and stuff, they'd be like, oh, they butterheads. Oh, they're dolphins. And I never knew what that was. And then later I learned they're on drugs, right? But I recently put two and two together and I'm like, oh, dolphins. Dolphins, they're chasing dopamine. They're chasing dope. They need that dope hit. They want to get that dope hit. We're all dope fiends or dope fiends. I don't think I'm saying it right. Dope fiends. I'm saying it too many times now. Dope fiend, dope fiend. Maybe they're both correct. But y'all know what I'm saying. Butterheads, crackheads, people who are on hard drugs. They're constantly chasing that hit. It's the same thing we're doing on social media. So if it works, why not use it to our own benefit? Why not use it for something that can benefit us to help us reach our goals, help keep us motivated? Imagine if every time you lost a pound, you got like a thumbs up. Like imagine if you put, and actually we just had Roberto Toto. He came on, he talked about how when you post your before and after pictures in the AHA group, how you feel like a superstar. You know what I mean? That's like getting a hit. And it's motivating. By the way, I'm gonna put the link to AHA communities in the chat. And you guys want to be a part of this group. It's a free membership that we created. It's kind of like a Facebook group, except it's not Facebook. It is one of the most positive places on the internet. So I want you guys to come and join if you want positive energy, if you want like a place that can help motivate you and keep you in alignment with your goals. I mean, if you're serious about the task, the exercise that we're doing tonight, you definitely want to join AHA communities. It's only going to help you. And also, there's a lot of other people who are on the same path. That synergy is very powerful. Once again, that synergy amongst like-minded individuals, I think, is one of the reasons why our challenges are so successful. It's one of the reasons why they're so successful. It's a cheat. It is a cheat. And when I say it's a cheat, not in a bad way, right? Like, all right, I'm super outcome-based, y'all. If your goal is to get from A to B, point A to point B, okay? And in between point A and B, there is a mountain. You have options. You can climb over the mountain. You can walk around the mountain. You could go through the mountain. You've got options. You might not have the mindset to consider all of the options. You might just think there's rules and you got to go over the mountain because the mountain's in front of you. You got to go from A to B. It's a straight line. You got to go over the mountain. You may not consider going around the mountain. You may not consider going through the mountain, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. If you could go through the mountain, go through the mountain. If other people want to climb the mountain, let them climb the mountain. Take the easy route. Why make things hard? I don't see the point of that. I don't see the point of that. So I look at the challenges and I look at the group as being able to go through the mountain. You just go straight through. Boop. It makes it easier. And one of the things that I said recently, let's say that you're 100 pounds overweight, okay? Because that's a very normal average, believe it or not, for our group. 100 pounds overweight, that's average. So if you're 100 pounds overweight, sometimes you could feel alone. Maybe in your friends group, you are the biggest. Maybe, maybe we're in your life, you feel alone because you stand out. But what I will tell you is a lot of people in our community have 100 pounds to lose. And a lot of people do lose 100 pounds. So it makes sense to be around people who understand where you're coming from and also maybe have accomplished the goal that you want to accomplish. But if someone has already walked the path that you want to go and they could tell you about the pitfalls or they can help you make it more streamlined, why not do it? The reality is you probably didn't get to be over 100 pounds overweight by yourself. Human beings are social creatures. Okay, we just talked about the holiday season. You know how easy it is to gain 100 pounds? I'm going to tell y'all how easy it is. This is going to freak y'all out. You ready? If your average weight gain is 5 pounds per year, which you might think sounds like a lot, But with the holiday season being what it is, it ain't that a lot. It's not that a lot. So if your average weight gain is 5 years over the course of 20 years, meaning from you either just got out of college or you're about to get out of college, maybe you're 21 years old, whatever. By the time you're 41, you're 100 pounds overweight. You're midlife. You're 100 pounds overweight. It's easy. It's 5 pounds a year for 20 years. It's not that hard. It really is not. And as we all know, because I know our audience is a little bit older, if you're 40, if you're 50, doesn't it feel like you just got out of high school? Didn't you just go to your high school reunion? Your 10-year high school reunion. You just had it. Yeah, 10 years ago. Like time goes by so fast. I remember being a child watching people like on TV go to their 10-year high school reunion. I remember watching it on TV. I remember watching on TV people going to their 20-year high school reunion and just the energy associated with it. People getting overweight, people getting sick, it was very rarely that you would go to a 10-year or 20-year reunion and people were so much better than they were when they were in high school. A lot of people peaked in high school. I'm not that person. I did not peak in high school. My legacy, my life, and everything that I'm here to do and be, I did not climax in high school. I'm not going to be that person. Now, some of you all might have been that person at your 10-year or your 20-year high school reunion. And we do understand that shame that comes along with it, you know? And it is comforting when everybody else is kind of in the same position too, right? It's like, well, I'm not doing that bad. They're in the same position I am. But the question is, do you want to be outstanding or not? Do you want to be average? If you want to be average and you want to get average results, then you don't even need to be listening to this talk. This is not going to be for you. If you want to be average, that's easy. Everybody is average. It's easy. You got to do no work. But if you want to be outstanding, you're going to have to do something different. Why go to your class reunion 10 years, 20 years, whatever, however y'all long? I don't know. I never got invited to mine. I guess they was like, nah, we ain't going to invite him. Shoot. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. When I was in high school, I did not like school. I did not like school. So I gamed the system. And this is what I was telling y'all about going through the mountain. When I was in high school, I learned that if you had enough credits to graduate, your GPA didn't matter. It just so happened I moved a lot when I was a child. So I would go to schools that I would earn more credits. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I would go to schools where I would earn more credits faster. But the school I graduated from had a lower requirement for credits. So I had an abundance of credits going into my senior year. And the only thing I had to do to graduate was to turn in my senior portfolio, which was I had to have like a passing grade in certain tests and curriculums, and I had to do like certain reports and things of that nature. But you have the whole year to do it. I'm going to tell y'all like this. I am an outcome-based person. I've been that way for a long time. My GPA coming out of high school is like a 1.9. I technically shouldn't have graduated. You shouldn't be able to graduate with a 1.9. I am proud of that because I gamed the system. I thought it was an achievement. Some of y'all might be like, oh, Chris, you must be stupid. No, I'm not stupid, but I am smart enough to work smarter and not harder. I did the minimum amount of effort. Why? Because I didn't really care about school. I wasn't really into school, didn't care about school, didn't really have a desire to go to college. I ended up going to college anyway because my dad pressed me to go to college, but it wasn't really something I wanted to do. But the point is, if it's something that's challenging, If it's something that you really don't want to do anyway, why not do it quickly? Get it done with, get it over with. Take the easy way. There's nothing wrong with that. TV and books and everything wants to teach you got to work hard. No, you do not have to work hard in order to be successful. You do have to work with intention, right? You need a plan. You need a support system. You need the right tools, and you need a level of consistency. And then that will get you there. You don't have to bust your butt. You don't have to puke your body out. You don't have to turn your insides out like they show you on the weight loss. You know, the weight loss transformations. You don't got to do all that. We've got a secret weapon. We have fasting. We have proper dietary strategy, and we have an amazing community. Then also, when you guys do join our challenges, you get to interact live with the coaches. You get to get, more personalized information. It streamlines it even more, right? We've got cheats. So what? Who cares? Who said you got to do it by yourself? I don't know anybody who's successful that did it on their own. I don't know where this narrative comes from that you got to do it on your own. You didn't gain the weight on your own. You gained it with your friends, going to the parties. You gained it with your friends, drinking. You gained it with your friends, going out to eat, or mourning a loved one, or going to a wedding, or Sunday dinner, or Thanksgiving, or whatever. So if you gain the weight with a group of people, maybe it would be easier to lose the weight with a group of people. It's all I'm saying. I'm just saying it might be easier. So tonight, when you guys get a chance, I want you to put your goals on a piece of paper. I want you to write it down. Be intentional. I want you to think about it. If you have your goal from 2024 that you were supposed to hit in 2024, let's refresh it and let's see what type of progress we can make. Now, if your goal is not a weight loss goal and you want to deal with some type of dis-ease in the body, then I'm highly recommending that you join our community and ask a question. That way you could get more information about your specific goal. We have a ton of resources available. A ton. I mean, honestly, I've made it my goal to basically be the Walmart of wellness. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, that's what I had in my head. I'm like, when you go to Walmart, you can get your hair done, your nails did, you can buy a new outfit, you can stop at the restaurants and eat while you shop, you can buy groceries, you can get your car fixed. You can literally you get your fishing license. You could do everything at Walmart. It's a one-stop shop. I wanted AHA to be a one-stop shop. So what we have done is, as we've grown our coaching team, the coaches have developed unique skills. Each coach has a unique skill set. We've put together a collection of tools, including some products that we have tested and know to work. We have a curriculum that's organic, but also the curriculum was developed based off of real life experience, not just my own, but the experience of hundreds of people in the community and also our coaches. We have a system that works. We've been around now for what? I think we just got our 6-year anniversary on Facebook, but YouTube came before Facebook. We're going in this, I think we're completing our 7th year. I don't want to do the math live and embarrass myself. Technically 2017, I guess, would be the first years. We started in December of 2016, but it was literally at the end of the year. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah. We're about to go into year 8. 8 years. If we didn't know what we were doing, we would have been gone. If we didn't get outcomes, we would have been gone. Y'all, literally, you have the opportunity to take the culmination of 8 years of work and benefit from it and apply it to your goals, whatever it is that you want to do. And we make our challenges extremely affordable. So the challenge is $98, y'all. It starts October 20th. You're going to get a core curriculum. So people always miss this part. I don't know why. I want y'all to understand when you join the challenge, it's not just the live streams. We have tens of hours of videos that you're supposed to watch as a part of the core curriculum. Okay, it's going to help you understand fasting, and it's going to help you build a level of mastery around what you're doing. We talk about dietary strategy, and then of course we have the live interactions. You get a PDF guide, and then we also have specific tools and some supplements and things that we suggest to go along with it based on maybe areas that you struggle with. Okay. In addition to that, what I've done is I've added a pay for option on the challenge. So if money is an issue for you, which I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody can afford it, but if money is an issue, we do have a pay for option. So you can break that $98 payment up into 4 different payments over the course of 8 weeks, I believe it is. And then that way, it gives people the opportunity to get the information. Once you get the information and you go through this process one time with the group, you'll be empowered to do it on your own. You can do it. You'll have the PDF guide. You can repeat it as many times as you want. Also, if you guys go through the core content and absorb the information properly, you can actually go back to my YouTube videos, the free YouTube videos, and you can use them as a resource to help you do it again as well. Because I give all the information away for free. All the information in the challenges is pretty much the same information I put on YouTube. It's just packaged differently. And of course, you get a few other goodies because you're doing the challenge. But my goal was never to be a gatekeeper. I really do. I love seeing y'all. Like I said, we just did our retreat. So we had several people come up to me and just tell me, hey, Chris, I lost 100 pounds, da, 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 da. Beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I can tell you 100%, y'all, there were several people that said nothing to me about their weight. And it just so happened that we're putting together a campaign, and I'm looking at old retreat photos. We have a lot of people that come to the retreats every year. And I'm looking at old photos and I'm like, she didn't say nothing about her weight loss, but I can see she's clearly lost at least 50 pounds. Like just from last year and the pictures between last year and this year. It's incredible. Hey, if you've been watching for 8 years, I hope you've gotten some benefit. I hope that you have applied some knowledge, because that's the important thing. What I don't want to see, I don't want to see you guys go into 2025 putting the same goal on your paper as you did in 2024. Right? When we make goals, the whole point of it is to hit that goal and move on to the next thing. You're not going to run out of goals. Trust me. If you feel like, oh, if I ever hit this goal, look, having a healthy mind and body is baseline. I know in this world, it seems like that's such a crazy, elaborate thing. That is the baseline thing. We should all have that. That is our God-given right. Our bodies are designed and equipped to be healthy and productive. So when we hit that goal of a healthy body and a healthy mind, that's literally just the bottom of the barrel. Because with the new mind comes new perspective, and with new perspective comes new goals. So being healthy and being able to maybe live past 80 with a high quality of life past 80, like that should be normal. That's how low we've fallen, where we're fighting for a high quality of living over the age of 70, because we're usually dying by the age of 76. All right. Y'all got any questions? You've been pretty quiet in the chat tonight. I want to give you guys an opportunity. If you got any questions, we'll do a little Q&A. And if not, we'll rock out. I know it's late. But, you know, I wanted to do a video tonight. I don't think I got anything prepared for tomorrow. So this will be our Sunday video for everybody who wakes up tomorrow. I know there's a little delay. If y'all got any questions, go ahead, put them in the chat. Be love, it's time. Yep. It's time. It's always time. The time is always now. The time is always now because tomorrow never comes. Right goal, set intention, review daily. What did you do towards your intention? Okay. You're just okay, got you. I thought that was a question at first. You got it. This is simple. This is y'all, this is simple. I know that society is man, I know we've been taught you have to work hard, you got to bust your butt, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I know we were all tricked. I know. It is simple. It's simple. Write your goal. What do you want? Write it down. Set the intention. Review it on a daily basis. It's like if you want to lose 50 pounds and you just do the first part, write your goal. Okay, boom. I want to lose 50 pounds. And then you just don't do anything else. Of course, you're not going to get the outcome, right? But if you set the intention, okay, here's my timeline. Okay, 50 pounds. Chris said I could do 50 pounds by the end of the year. So my goal is going to be 50 pounds by the end of the year, which means what? There's a certain amount of weight that you have to lose each day or each week, right? I mean, we can literally break this down. It's not hard. There's a certain amount of weight you need to lose each week. I think that's maybe a better way to approach it. This is my mindset. And then you have to do things each day to reach that weekly goal. And then at the end of the week, or maybe daily, however you want to do it, you can monitor your weight. So you can determine whether you're going in the right direction or the wrong direction. That's the intention. You have your goal, you have your timeline, you've broken it down, you know what you need to do, you review it daily to make sure you're on track. If you're not on track, get back on track. If you're on track, don't let up. Give yourself the dopamine hit. Create a visual. That way you can keep yourself motivated. Join AHA communities. Okay, I'm assuming this is your 2024 goal. Still going to hit my goal, 80 pounds down by December 31st. Excellent. 80 pounds in a year is excellent. Like, you know, we always want to talk about like what's the max, what's the most. 80 pounds in a year is amazing. If you've been gaining 5 pounds a year for the past 20 years, and you've put on an extra 100 pounds, and you can knock off 80% of that in 1 year, that's incredible. You know, I find that a lot of times because of our it's unfortunate, but because we bring people on the show, they've lost 100 pounds, they've lost 200 pounds. People think that's small weight. They think that's a normal thing. Yeah, maybe in our community it's normal, but it's not normal. 80 pounds in a year is incredible. Thank you for those awesome words of wisdom. You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate you. Listen, I know it's late. I appreciate y'all viewing. 1:20 a.m. Hey, that's what's up. Okay, so the next challenge, y'all, is October 20th. It's an R72. I highly suggest that if you guys are looking to supercharge your wellness goals going into the new year, join that challenge. All right. Once again, I'll put the link in the chat for you all. Oops, that's the link to AHA communities. I think I did that before. My bad. I got a link for y'all. Don't worry about it. Here come the link. It's the second link. For those who are watching after the fact, I did put the link in the description. Is there a fasting protocol you recommend for distance runners, or should I stick to intermittent fasting? Yeah, I mean, intermittent fasting is great for athletes. I don't know if you're like currently, are you like a professional athlete, or you just do it like, is it more of a hobby or just something, maybe it helps, maybe it's a coping mechanism for you. Intermittent fasting is the safe route. You could also do juice fasting, right? So you can up the ante. If you want to get more out of your fast, you can up the ante by either doing a juice fast or a liquid fast. And in that way, because intermittent fasting can be tricky if you're not eating well. So if you don't have a good grasp or concept over your eating, then you might want to do something that's going to give you a little bit more bang for your buck. And yeah, I will. Okay, so so if you're not a professional athlete, then here's what I would recommend. Especially if you're, I don't know I don't know how overweight you are, but if you're overweight, let's say we'll just say a minimum of 30 pounds, let's say between 130 pounds, then you really want to get that weight off before you start like putting all of that extra stress on your body anyway. So if you love running and you're overweight, you're putting a lot of excess stress on your body, just the impact from running, right? So getting the weight off quicker would actually be my recommendation. It would just be better on your body. So I wouldn't worry about intermittent fasting. I think it's a little slow. There's nothing wrong with it. I like intermittent fasting more for maintenance. That's how I look at it. If you are an athlete or if you're in a maintenance position, I think intermittent fasting is a great tool. But I would push it to at least juice fasting. But the R72 would actually still work out for you because we're doing 3 days of fasting. Okay, we do water, and then on day 4 we eat. So you only actually fast 6 days out of the week, but you have 2 eat days in between. So that helps keep your energy levels high or keep them managed. And then there's also once again, some supplements or some tools that you can add if you want to still maintain your high energy levels. But this is the reason why the challenges are so amazing, because I mean, pretty much whatever goal you have, we can help you reach that goal. We work with people who have very hectic lifestyles, or machine operators, heavy. Maybe you drive trucks or something where you have to have clarity of mind and focus. We've got so many tools to help you guys. The challenge is 30 days. So it starts October 20th. It's 30 days. Okay. We do 1 week of prep. Do not skip the prep. Make sure that you watch the core content. I cannot stress that enough. You're if you don't watch the core content, you're doing yourself a disservice. I mean, everybody thinks that they can just jump in the challenge and just, do everything. Some people don't even do the prep, and some people can power through it, but it's usually not sustainable. And also, we have so many people who do join the challenge and they're like, "Oh, I didn't finish it." And it's like, "Well, did you prep?" No. Did you watch the core content videos? No. Did you join the lives? Yeah, I joined the lives. Okay, cool. Did you ask questions? No. So once again, you can't just show up to the job and not do work. You're going to have to do work. We're going to help you streamline it and make it easy, but you got to do something, you know? Okay, it's a good question. What do I need to purchase prior to the R72 detox? So I think I don't know if we do a quick start guide with this challenge or not. I don't remember, but usually there's nothing extra that you need to purchase. Okay, so there's several ways to approach the challenge. You can get a basic registration. It's the challenge. It's going to come with all the things that I mentioned. You could apply. You can win. If you know that you struggle, if there's a certain area that you struggle in, then use the suggested tools, right? So it depends on the person. It also depends on your financial situation, right? So obviously, don't spend more than you can afford, but keep in mind that we do have the pay for option as well. So we have an option where you could purchase the caster pack with the challenge. What the caster pack does is help to accelerate detoxification. It opens up your elimination pathways. Also, the castor oil will go and break up sludge in your body. It just makes it easier to move toxins out. It's a cheat. It's a cheat. We've got several cheats built into the challenge. If you guys struggle, especially if you had a goal in 2024 and you're nowhere near that goal, then that means you're struggling in some capacity. It's okay. Take some help. We've got an appetite suppressant tea. Hey, if you know you do fasting and you know that your appetite is the reason why you be breaking your fast or you're not consistent, get the appetite suppressant tea. Use the tools available. Now, when you buy it, you also got to make the tea. You got to drink it every day. You know what I mean? But we're like, when I very first started fasting, I wasn't aware of any of this stuff. I didn't know there was a tea you could drink to suppress the appetite. I didn't know that I could use a castor pack to help with the pain that I was experiencing from my detox symptoms. Like, you guys don't have to go through that. You don't have to. And if you've been trying to fight that battle and you're losing, use a tool. Make it easier for yourself. Say I boil my tap water, then sun charge it. Will that work to cleanse it enough to be healthy to drink? Um, boiling tap water is not necessary. I don't even know if I would say boil it. And maybe just sun charge it. I mean, if you have the ability to boil your water, you have the ability to make your own distilled water. And that might be a lot to ask. But rigging up your pots to be able to like just make your own distilled water, like you can go on YouTube and see how to make it yourself. Actually, YouTube University is a good thing, right? Because you could actually look up how to design a very simple filter. There's some very, very simple filters you guys can make from home. Because remember, all the materials are outside, like rocks and sand and charcoal and stuff. That's what filters. That's what cleans water naturally. So you could go get the materials very, very cheap, make your own filter, and then you run your water through that filter and sun charge it. That would be better. I wouldn't recommend boiling it. It's not, that's not. I wouldn't boil it personally. The tea's called the AHA appetite suppressant tea. So you can find it on the website. You can go to ahealthyalternative.org and find it. Or if you guys join the challenge, it'll be an option at checkout. It'll ask you if you want to add it. Yeah, okay. It's odd that you guys are saying that you don't have distilled water, because sometimes distilled water is hiding. I know in certain countries, because the hospitals and stuff still use it. Car batteries still use it. I'm sure y'all probably have it, but it might be in a weird area in the grocery store. I don't know. I don't know. But if you don't have distilled water, get spring water. And if you just have tap water, make yourself a filter. Literally, there's YouTube videos how to make a homemade filter or whatever out of rocks. Its filters are easy. All you do is you take you put the material in a funnel, right? So it's going to have a wide mouth at the top and a more narrow mouth towards the bottom. And you're going to pack it with different materials. If I'm not mistaken, and I don't want to lie, but YouTube is easy, but I think charcoal usually goes at the bottom. That's usually the last thing that the water will run through. And then you do different varying sizes of like sand. It's really all it is. So you might do charcoal on the bottom, like a fine sand on top, and then maybe like pebbles on top of that, and then bigger rocks on, and you just run your water through it, and that filters all of the. I mean, I don't know how efficient they are, but it'll filter the crap out, and then you sun charge it, and that'll kind of take care of the rest. And you'll probably find that the water tastes a lot better too. I'm not sure why I feel scared to start losing weight. Well, one idea is that we identify as our obese body. Some people, what I've learned is a lot of people gain weight because of, and I'm not putting this on you, okay? I'm speaking generally, but a lot of people gain weight because it's a protection mechanism. Either they don't want to be looked at by other people. I usually find this in the case of women versus men. If a woman feels very uncomfortable to be lusted after, sometimes she'll gain weight because it helps to make her more invisible to men. If you've dealt with sexual abuse, especially as a child, oftentimes children, as they develop, they'll gain weight to be unattractive to other people. That way they don't get abused again. It could be a cultural thing. In different cultures, gaining weight, being bigger or more plump is a sign of wealth or status or whatever. And even though that might not currently exist, it's a tradition and a ideology that's passed down. There's many different reasons why. It could be that you fear the unknown. I've talked to women who are married and they're afraid to be more attractive to their husband for various reasons, because of how aggressive they get sexually or whatever the case may be. Only you can answer that question. You're going to have to kind of explore. You're going to have to, I mean, that's what journaling is for. That's the benefit of journaling, to be able to explore. We also have coaches that specialize in helping you understand this type of stuff. If you join the challenge, you can get you have so many opportunities and touch points with the coaches. I'm not going to say it's like getting a free coaching session, because it won't necessarily be one-on-one per se, but basically. So, I mean, we can help you kind of unpack that, figure that out. Is Evian water good? No, I mean, it's probably better than tap, but it's not what it claims to be. I mean, it just is what it is. I used to drink it. I used to think it was the best bottled water, but I'll say this: when you buy a bottle of water and it comes in plastic, and the company is boasting that it's the best water, you should already be suspicious. I'll just say that. If your bottled water comes in plastic, be suspicious. Bottled water should come in glass. Anybody who is a water manufacturer, knows water, studies water, knows there is no plastic bottle you can put water in that's going to be good. So if they're really about what they talk about, they're going to put their water in glass. There's no reason not to. Hi, can you tell me on my shrink week, can I eat potatoes? The question's a little confusing, because first I don't think you understand what the shrink week is, so let me try to clarify. So the fasting shrink week is a week, literally, it's usually about 7 days, where you're fasting and you don't lose any weight. That's what the fasting shrink week is. So unless maybe you have a different definition, I'm not sure. But if you're talking about what we talk about, I've never heard anybody talk about the fasting shrink week besides me. It's something that I realized through fasting. But you don't want to eat anything on your fasting shrink week. So no, I guess is the answer. The R72 challenge that's starting in October is $98. There's also varying levels that come with extra tools. And as I mentioned before, we have a pay for option. So you could break whatever option you choose, you could break it up into 4 payments over the course of 8 weeks. Thank you for touching on these things. The emotional, energetic aspect of weight gain cannot be ignored or overlooked. Listen, we are mental, physical, energetic, spiritual, and there's many different planes of to our being. We're interdimensional beings. We have 2 hemispheres in our brain. One is rooted in the 3D world, one is rooted in the more spiritual realm. What we have seen over the past, probably I would say, 80 years really, is an attack on the spiritual aspect of our body. The spiritual, energetic, mental, all of that has been attacked to where we really just focus on the physical aspect. And if we don't understand that our physical body responds to our energetic state, then yeah, we might be spinning our wheels sometimes. So you're welcome. How do you stick to healthy foods during a refeed? I always plan to, but then cake happens. Okay, well, if you know that cake is your weakness, then that means, listen, okay, so I don't know if you were here for the whole talk. First of all, if you guys didn't see the whole talk, I highly recommend you watch the whole talk. I highly recommend you start the video from the beginning because, yeah. But when we look at the laws of nature, the laws of the 3D world, if you have a goal in mind, right? Like your goal is to eat healthy, your goal is to lose weight, whatever, there's always that opposing energy that helps to create balance. We call it negative. It could be negative. I like to look at it as balance. But if your goal is to eat healthy, then you're going to be presented with negative foods, right? Because that's just the way it works. So if you know that you're going to be presented with obstacles, laugh at it when it comes. Be prepared for it. As a matter of fact, when I very first started fasting personally, one of the things I noticed was whenever I said, okay, I'm going to do a 10-day fast, a 15-day fast, whatever, 2 weeks, whatever I'm going to do. As soon as I started fasting, food would come to me. So as soon as I said, I'm not going to eat for the next 2 weeks, free food started coming my way. And I used to tell this to people as a joke, but seriously, if you're dealing with, if you're on hard times and your money is short and you don't got money for food, commit yourself to a fast. I bet you food comes your way. It's this internal battle that we have inside of us. In literature, they say man versus himself. It's just literally like there's that voice inside your head. I don't know. It's pre-programming, whatever. That's like, okay, your conscious mind wants to do this thing, but then there's this subconscious part of you that's like, nah, we're not doing that. Because the body doesn't, the mind, how should I put this? There's an aspect of our being that doesn't like change. There's an aspect of our being that doesn't like change. The body likes, or your being, an aspect of your being likes status quo. Status quo is going to be different for everybody. There's an aspect of us, not necessarily your body, but there's an aspect of us that likes status quo. So there's always going to be an opposing energy to change. That's the natural friction of life, though. This is a good thing. It's a good thing because if things were too easy, we wouldn't do anything. So we have to have friction. When you decide that you're going to eat healthy, let's just say over the next week, right? Or whatever, 2 weeks, you're just going to eat healthy. That's your goal. Healthy means no processed foods, and that's pretty much your baseline. No processed foods. You can eat whatever you want, but no processed foods. Then and you should not be making cake, right? You should not be making cake or buying cake. When cake comes, laugh at it. I knew you was coming. I was prepared for you. Use it to your advantage. Isn't it so much easier to avoid an obstacle that you know is coming? So last night I'm driving and I got the Google Maps pulled up, and Google Maps alerted me and was like, "Hey, is the debris or is the obstruction still in the road?" It's just a little message that popped up. I actually never seen it before. It was like, "Is the debris still in the road?" or something like that. I'm reading the message. I'm like, "Debris still in the road," and then maybe about 30 seconds later, there was debris in the road. So because the map, the Google actually warned me about it, I was looking for it, right? I was focused on it. And then I wasn't caught off guard. I wasn't paying attention to something else, and then I accidentally hit the debris and What about Fiji water? Same thing as Evian. There's a reason why I started manufacturing my water at home. I went through this process of trying to figure out what's the best water to drink, and what I came to the realization is, number one, even if the company says, "Oh, we get it from the Swiss Alps, we get it from this spring," whatever, you cannot verify that. You're not there. You don't know. It's just a label. The water can come from anywhere. They just put the Evian label on it. Now it's from the Swiss mountains or whatever. The French Alps, I don't know, wherever they say they get it from. So in order for me to know where my water was coming from, I just processed it at home. But once again, as a baseline, your water should come in glass. If we want to talk about like what companies are going to be the best, it should at least come in glass to start. I don't read a lot of books, y'all. I don't read a lot of books. However, I have a stack of books behind me. I just started a book collection. So I have the intention to read books. I just didn't do the rest of it where I set timelines and goals and all the other stuff. So that's like my obesity right there. I got all them books over there and I ain't read them yet. So I can't really tell you. However, I'll tell you who does have a good list of books. Stephen Michael, and my brother John. They both have great, and also Mel too. If you guys join the challenge, you could talk to them, or if you join one of our calls where they're on, you could talk to them and ask them. They've got great suggestions for books. Chris, has anybody attempted to complete the 90-day water fasting recently? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Over the summer for sure. If you jump in the Facebook group or AHA communities, you should be able to search the posts and you'll be able to find that type of stuff. Transparency posts. I've started fast in the past, but grew frustrated when others were losing and I wasn't. I would eventually fall off. How do I get past this? I don't know what that word is. Stage and finish. It usually takes a kind of a back and forth conversation to really work these types of questions out, because the answer is not a general answer, right? This is going to be specific to you. But what I will say is, set your own expectations. You never want to compare yourself to anybody else, because your body and your experiences are different. Your chemical composition is different. When we talk about like weight loss and everything people experiences, it's just averages, literally it's averages. That means that if, like I mentioned earlier, you guys could lose 60 pounds between now and the end of the year easily, right? That's an average. Some people will lose more, some will lose less. So, managing expectations is important. But here's the other thing I'll say, since we're being transparent. If you are not if you're not giving something your full attention, if you're not doing everything in your power to be successful, it's going to be hard to gauge why you're unsuccessful, because you can assume that with the level of effort you're putting in, you should get XYZ result, but you really don't know if you're not doing it properly. Okay. So this is why the challenges are so important, in my opinion, because you get the opportunity to learn how to do it properly. There may be something that you're doing improperly, and that's why you're getting the result you're getting. Conversely, it could be because of a different thing. It might not be a physical thing. It could be a mental trauma or an energetic trauma that's holding your weight loss back. Could be a hormonal imbalance. So, but the part of the journey where you are intentional is you do what you're supposed to do based on how things are outlined, and you document your experience. You do it right. You can't say, "Oh, I'm losing 10 pounds less than everybody else," and you know you're not doing it right. So the first thing is you do it right. Then, as you go through that process of documenting, it's kind of like you're going to start testing different things. Okay, Chris, I'm doing everything right. What's next? What can I do now? Okay, cool. Like, let's look at your hormonal balance. Maybe you need, okay, if you're a woman, do you get PMS? If you're a man, do you feel unhinged? Right? We might start talking about like how you interact with people. What are your stress levels like? It's not so cut and dry where I could just be like, oh, this is your problem. Here's, when it comes to that, it's a journey. You got to be willing to try and fail, which try and fail just simply means to learn and grow. That's how, when I hear try and fail, is learn and grow. That's how I look at it. That's my perspective on try and fail. But to start off, I would say just do everything to the T first. And then if you're finding that you're still not getting results, now we have a baseline to go off of, because we know it's not because you're not doing the fasting properly. So now you're doing the fasting properly, you're still not getting the results. Now we can say, okay, let's test this thing. Okay, that didn't work. Let's test this thing, right? And that's the work in progress. Oops. Okay, I'm getting tired. Y'all's questions just keep on coming. Let's see. Hi, my mom deals with symptoms of SIBO or Candida. Have you seen people see progress with healing these before? Would it be dry fasting juice better suited for this? So Stephen took a deep dive on this because I think this is something he personally dealt with, Candida. Candida simply is an imbalance. Where the imbalance comes from, I don't know that it really matters at this point, because if you're already dealing with it, it kind of doesn't matter. But resolving the imbalance, it depends on how much Candida they're dealing with. And but what I'll say is, over the course of 90 days, if you're doing, I would recommend probably more water fasting than juice. But if you're going to do juice, you could do specific juice to help balance the bacteria in your system, to help nourish the microorganisms in the gut. I probably wouldn't do a lot of like fruit juice. I'm sure there's some green juices that are going to be better suited for balancing Candida. If you're going to do juice, I would go that route. Water fasting is a little bit more simplistic. Same thing with dry fasting. The only thing about dry fasting is when it comes to like Candida and stuff, you really need to be consistent for a long period of time. Dry fasting is like the most powerful fasting, but it's also a big draw energetically, and just doing it for a long time. So you might have to switch it up a little bit. So I would probably recommend water or dry, or maybe like a combination. You could switch back and forth. And then you have to eat well. There's no getting around that. And you have to eat well consistently. Now there's some some tools I can give you to help speed up the process. But if we're just talking about what you could do, I would recommend eating raw. That's the cleanest answer. Raw foods, dry fasting and water fasting, and you got to be consistent 90 days. If you got some extra resources and you've got some money you could use towards different supplements and stuff, then there are some supplements that can help you or help her. Sorry, I'm getting really tired all of a sudden. But I think I know why. It's because I've been on this live for almost, and it was been over an hour and a half, and I'm sapping my energy. Plus, it's already late at night. But yeah, you could do it. I would recommend that you join AHA communities and reach out to Stephen Michael, because he literally studied this for his own purposes, and he'll have some more specific resources. I know my answers general. My answers general, it will work, but you also might not be very appealing. You know, it's not the easiest thing to fast and eat raw for 90 days, but it would work, you know. But there's some other tools we got available to help you out. So I'm gonna put the link in here again for AHA communities. If you're not already a part of it, come join, and then we can expand on the conversation. I don't know what this means. You went to my website. You want assistance. What do you want assistance with? What are you looking for? Oh, you like that idea? Cool. Expect and look for the opposition. Laugh at it. Thanks, Chris. I'll practice this after my fast. Yeah. The way that I developed this is through observation. I was just paying attention. I was like, man, I just noticed every time I committed to a fast. So first I would get frustrated because I'm like, every time this is how it came out. Every time I commit to a fast, someone tries to offer me food. That's how it came out. That's how it came out originally. And then I was like, wait a minute. No one ever offers me food. Every time I do a fast, someone offers me food. I'm like, wait a minute. And then it just clicked. I'm like, oh, this is the test. But like when you know the answers to the test, you're not worried about it, right? So you all are very welcome. Thank you for sitting and listening. Thank you for the questions. I know I didn't get all the questions. My energy is running out, so I don't got nothing more for y'all. I would really love to see you all join the challenge. Imagine having the same type of dialogue in the challenge with literally hundreds of other people, and you guys are asking your questions, but I have 4 or 5 other coaches with me, and we can answer your questions as a team. It gives you a much more complete experience. We offer that several times throughout the challenge. Plus, the coaches usually do some bonus live streams, and of course, you've got the secret group that you all are invited to. So, I hope to see you guys on the inside. I hope I inspired some of you all today to pursue your goals. It's not too late. Especially weight loss. Weight loss is an easy thing. We've already figured that out. So, yeah. All right. I got a little video I'm going to play for y'all. Because, you know, I'm promoting the R72. Come join us. From you, what your experience has been like in the challenge, and maybe what have you seen so far?
Well, I see a lot of people signed up, which is wonderful because the R72 method is it's game changing. It's a lot easier mentally to carry through, and I see a lot of people, they're nervous, they're excited and all the things. And, I try to tell them, just be consistent, just give yourself some grace because as long as you're consistent, you will lose the weight. You really will, but try to follow the food that you put in the gut because it does make a difference as far as weight loss and everything like that. But there's so many benefits to it. You lose inches, you lose weight. For me, my joints don't hurt. It's just so many benefits of the R72 fasting.